Gilmore Girls gets therapized. How can you talk with your kids about sex, boundaries, and preparation? Mended light. Okay, so here's the setup. Rory's dating Jess, and so far, at least when she was with Dean, they kissed a little bit, and then they held hands and snuggled, and it was just very sweet and young, right? Jess has a little bit more of an edge, and Lorelai's worried, and so is Luke. Here we go.
Don't have any time to kill there?
Some.
Got a great book. It has walking tours of old historic Manhattan, you know, before Disney got a hold of it. The Soho one's pretty good.
Oh, I love stuff like that.
It's upstairs on my dresser if you want to run up and grab it.
Cool, thanks. Oh! Mom! Surprise!
What are you doing here?
I came up for a book.
A book?
Yeah.
Got a lot of books here. Anything in particular?
It's one of Luke's.
Well, if it doesn't have Encyclopedia Brown in the title, then narrows it down a lot.
Walking Tours, New York.
On the table.
Good, here it is. Okay, so, thanks. Sorry about this.
It's okay.
We should probably come up with a system or something.
Probably.
Deja vu, huh?
Poor Jess, his face.
Luke's apartment like this in the future. I don't know, so put the system on the back burner.
Okay.
Okay, carry on.
Lorelai's. Carry on. She's always so awkward.
Dude,
Hey, find it okay?
yeah, I found everything, including a coupling.
Rory and Jess?
No, Ben and J-Lo. Yes, Rory and Jess?
Guess I should have told you.
Ben and J-Lo. We circled back to that.
On the couch. Horizontal on the couch.
They come up for air every so often.
And you just allow this? Luke!
Settle down. I go up there every 10 minutes pretending to get something to keep them from doing something we don't want. Oops, I forgot my pocket knife. Oops, I'm out of ones. Hey, you see a case of mustard up here? I put the stuff in a box. I take the box upstairs every couple days, then start all over again.
And you think that suffices?
Look, it's better that they're safe and upstairs than someplace else. And you going up there just now saved me a trip, so thanks.
Glad to be of service.
Been a good system, it works.
Every 10 minutes?
Like clockwork, never a minute more.
Even if you're serving a customer, it's every 10 minutes?
If I'm in mid-pour, I stop and go up.
10 minutes. Yep, that's pretty much the time it took to create Rory. And that included getting dressed and freshening my lipstick.
What?
Thanks for the book.
Caesar, cover for me.
I mean, she's right. If you're doing it well, it takes a lot more than 10 minutes, nice and slow. But you're teenagers, 10 minutes is more than enough time to make this happen. What I think is funny is that Luke sent her up there to get the book knowing they were making out. He didn't just forget. So he shouldn't be surprised that she walked in on that. But I love that he's got a system, and the system is, how can we keep them from having sex? But the thing is, it's not enough. It's not enough to say, here's what you can and can't do. It's not enough to say, here's the system, because teens with a mind to do that are gonna find a way to do that. It's more important to have the conversations than to just arbitrarily set up the rules and then hope that they will not find a way around, because they can find a way around if they want to. So Lorelai very wisely decides to broach the subject with Rory, but in typical Lorelai fashion, she can't just be direct, she's gotta be awkward and beat around the bush.
Good. So, how are you guys working the logistics tonight?
I am going to study at school, then I'm going straight to Grandma's from there. Jess is driving straight from work, and then he's driving me home.
Home? Home here?
Yeah, he's gonna drop me off here.
Well, I guess that makes sense.
I thought so.
Although, I don't know.
What?
Are you sure that's the best way to do it?
Yeah, why?
Well, it just means you're coming home to an empty house.
Well, that's your doing, not mine.
Yeah, but it might be kind of lonely here. Did you think about staying at Mom's?
Overnight?
Yeah, they've got those fancy beds that don't sag, and you're guaranteed a great Norma Desmond-style breakfast the next morning. You don't have school.
Speak your mind, Lorelai.
I'd rather just come home.
Okay, sure. But, you know, staying at your grandmother's would also mean that Jess wouldn't have to go out of his way at the end of the night to drop you off. It would be much more convenient for him.
Our house is 0.2 of a mile out of his way.
I'm sure he's gonna have enough gas.
I'll make sure.
But if you can't get a hold of him, it might be safer to plan on staying at Mom's. I mean, if you run out of gas, you're stuck and at the mercy of the orcs.
Mom, why are you so freaked?
This is not freaked.
Is it because you won't be here and he will?
That might have crossed my mind.
And what are you worried about happening?
Well, what you guys were on the on-ramp for up at Luke's the other day. Your basic boy-girl stuff, especially this new boy, you girl stuff.
Well, the boy is different, but I'm still me. That hasn't changed.
Yeah, I know.
And I have so much on my mind, so many things going on in my life that I don't even have time to think about that.
No thinking at all?
None, I swear.
Sure.
And we talk about everything together, you and me, remember? So it's not like something will happen that you won't know about.
Good.
Except for you didn't know that we were making out.
Come on.
So, when talking to your kids about sex, even though it's potentially awkward to get started and potentially uncomfortable, just like most potentially awkward and uncomfortable conversations, the best way through it is a straight line. And Lorelai just tried to say, well, maybe you should stay at Grandma's for this reason or for that reason, instead of, hey, I love you, I care about you, I'm glad that you are experiencing young love and all of these new feelings. I got pregnant with you as a teenager, which threw off my life plan, and I'm so grateful to have you in my life and so grateful for what we have. But I still worry about what might happen and what that could look like. And I want to talk with you about what are your values, what are your plans, and what are you going to do? She doesn't do any of that. Rory has to be the one to say, Mom, what are you worried about? And what do you think is going to happen? My dad really took the reins on this, and I was like 9 years old when he described to me what sex was. And then all throughout, from all the way through high school and into my 20s, we had a lot of conversations about sex, about relationships, and I knew that I could ask him literally anything because I tried. And he just gave me direct answers without any sort of shame or embarrassment. Recognize that this is a normal part of life for a high percentage of people, right? I have ace friends who aren't especially into sex or sexuality, and more power to them, like room at the table for everybody. But for a lot of us, the fact that we continue to exist as a species, sex is normal, it's natural, and it's part of just who we are. So we need to strip away the embarrassment and the awkwardness and just have conversations about safety, conversations about values, conversations about choices. You know, some people choose abstinence, some people choose to have sex. If you're going to have sex, how to do that in a safe way. All these things. And not just physical, but also emotional. How to be in a place where you're not feeling used or cheapened, or merely for somebody else's gratification. How to treat yourself with enough respect. These are all important conversations to have. And because Rory and Lorelai have been able to be open about everything before, it also applies to sex, even if Rory makes the first move.
Mom?
Is that you, Rat?
I bring food.
Oh, thank God. One of everything at Al's. Bless you and your gluttony. Aren't you hungry?
Yeah.
Well, come on. Dig in. What's wrong?
Nothing. Listen.
I'm listening.
When I said before that I was too busy to think about it, I realized now that I'm not too busy to think about it.
Think about it?
About it.
Oh, it.
Yeah. It.
Ah, it.
Nothing's happened yet, but it might. Maybe.
Maybe?
Maybe. With Jess.
With Jess.
You still want me to tell you everything, right?
Yeah. No.
Which is it?
We're doing this now.
Yes? Which is it?
I don't know.
You'll let me know?
Yeah.
Was that, yeah, you'll let me know, or yeah, that's your answer, you want to know?
I guess I want to know. Yes.
Okay.
And now. Sure.
Well, nothing's happened,
I heard.
but it might.
Okay. Could you tell me before it does?
Right before, or?
No, just before.
Okay.
Okay, good. Is that it?
For tonight.
Baby steps.
Good. This is good.
Yeah, it is good.
Okay, well, let's eat.
Good.
I love about Lorelai is, like a lot of parents, she's trying to play it cooler than she actually feels. And she doesn't feel like she's ready for this, for her daughter to be interested in this and exploring this. But at the same time, she recognizes its inevitability. And by inevitability, I'm not saying teenagers will have sex. I mean, obviously, a lot do. But others don't, and that's fine. The inevitability is my daughter is growing up. And for her, this is part of growing up. And I need to be able to roll with it and be present for her, even if I don't feel ready. We can't, as parents, expect our children to wait for us to be ready. We're on their timetable, not in terms of behavior per se, but just in terms of what's going on here and here. And I love that Lorelai has made it easy for Rory to open up. Again, my dad did this. The very first time he told me about all this, it was very clinical, scientific, and not my favorite thing as a 9-year-old to hear about. But every couple of years we'd have another talk, and then it got to the point where, like Rory, if I had questions, I knew that I could go to him. Because he would give me real answers, and he wouldn't tell me to wait till I was older. I think his thinking was, if you're old enough to ask, you're old enough to know. And I think that's a good rule of thumb in parenting in general. If you say wait until you're older, what you're really saying is go find another source to learn about this instead of me. And I don't think we want that. So what do you see about how Lorelai and Rory are having these conversations? What's positive and supportive and what's maybe less so? Let me know in the comments below. And do you disagree with any of my conclusions? I'd love to know because I love to learn from your opinions. One thing I will say is that for all of her stumbling and mumbling, Lorelai has made it safe for Rory to feel her emotions. That is essential for all of us because our emotions are information and they're part of being human, and there's nothing shameful or wrong about any emotion that we feel. It matters what we do with them, but we need to create a safe place for ourselves to explore them. And I've got a video, being safe to feel your emotions, or we've got a video rather, that addresses that very subject in depth, which is going to pop up right here. Click on that link and check it out. Until next time, folks, keep shining. We need your light.